Aloha everyone, welcome to Skincare with Hyram. If you don't know who I am, my name's Hyram and I'm passionate about teaching you how to perfect your skincare routine. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and to the notification bell so that you can see my videos every single week. Is it just me or is it impossible for anyone else to not do a selfie without a peace sign? Insecurities for the win! You guys are gonna be so proud of me. As a lot of you guys now know, I kneel when I film my videos. I've been doing it for years. And recently you guys have been commenting so much about like recommendations, how I can help my knees, different ways I can sit to make it better, all these really helpful and honestly very kind recommendations that I did not expect. But you guys will be so proud to know that I now have stacked cushions on each other and I'm sitting on them instead of kneeling. Yay! My god, how on earth did I get 3 million subscribers? It's just beyond me. So you clicked on this video because you hate sunscreen. How dare you? No, I'm kidding. I was there at one point in time. Sunscreen is one of those steps in the skincare routine that is what I consider to be the chore of the skincare routine most of the time. It's one of those things where when you start a skincare routine, you're like, oh my god, it's gonna be so fun. I'm gonna have a cleanser, I'm gonna have a serum moment, I'm gonna have a moisturizer. And then you're like, ugh, but do I have to wear sunscreen? And trust, from the amount of people I've talked to that have a full skincare routine but no sunscreen, I understand that it is the least sexy part of the skincare routine. You don't like the experience, you don't like how it feels, you don't like having to pay a lot of money. Whatever your reason may be, this video is for you. I'm so fortunate to have seen all of your guys' comments and talked to so many of you asking, why don't you wear sunscreen? Or seeing the main reasons why you guys avoid sunscreen in your skincare routine. And it all boils down to a few consistent reasons. Because my goal is to get you to wear sunscreen every single day. And I know it's possible. So first let me explain, why should you be wearing sunscreen? Why is it so important and why won't I stop shoving it down your throat? Here's a fun fact, 90% of premature aging is due to sun exposure alone. 90%. That is a lot, considering that aging is something that, you know, most of us want to prevent as long as possible, or something really serious like skin cancer. I don't know what it is, but myself included, whenever I hear the word cancer, I think I've just become so desensitized to it that when people are like, that causes cancer, I'm just like, yeah, and what else? The earth is dying. It's kind of funny that I'm just like, oh yeah, cancer, whatever, but aging, wrinkles? Oh my god, no. But given that statistic and so much data that is currently out there about the role that sun has in damaging our skin, and also understanding that there's at least 100 times more research around sun damage than there is about ingredients and skincare in general, it really is the most important thing. Because of this, sunscreen is the most important step in your skincare routine. That is undeniable. Any dermatologist will tell you, any esthetician will tell you, any chemist will tell you. It is critical. And I already hear a rebuttal saying, but Hyram, I hate sunscreen because of this, or I hate sunscreen because of that. Let me get into it. So the number one concern people are always expressing to me whenever they hate sunscreen is white cast. White cast is a big thing that people want to avoid, and understandably so. It's not fun to use some thick sludge on your skin that makes you look like Flashback Mary. And here's the reason why sometimes sunscreen can be an unpleasant experience. Now there's two different types of sunscreens, mineral sunscreens, inorganic sunscreens, or chemical sunscreens, organic sunscreens. That's a lot of S's. Now chemical sunscreens can be nice because oftentimes they don't leave a white cast, but I personally don't like using chemical sunscreens because of a bunch of different reasons, but mainly because of their risk of sensitivity to the skin and their potential risk for coral bleaching. I've talked about this so much on my channel. If you've watched any of my videos, you understand why I don't believe that they're the devil ingredient. I would just prefer to avoid them because of the risks associated with them. Mineral sunscreens are the ingredients zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, and they function so amazingly and their risk of sensitivity is so low, but they tend to have a white cast sometimes. Think of mineral sunscreens kind of like a mirror on the surface of your skin. They essentially reflect UV rays off your skin, so they're really effective at preventing sun damage, but because of that mirror-like effect, they do sometimes leave a little bit of a white cast. But there's a couple options to prevent this. This video is thankfully sponsored. Dermablend and CeraVe partnered up to sponsor me for this video because they love this mixing technique that I'm going to show you in a little bit. It's the Dermablend multi-use pigment drops. Now these are awesome. If you guys watch my skincare and hair care routine that I recently uploaded, I was using this in the routine because I think it's so freaking cool, and I've been using this for how long? Months. A good few months. I've shared a similar struggle with you guys when using mineral sunscreens because of the white cast. And for so long I've been looking for products to help get rid of the white cast while not affecting the performance of the sunscreen to make sure that I'm not risking getting any sun damage. These are amazing because they're highly pigmented drops that you can add into your sunscreen to help offset the white cast and help it match the color of your skin. And Dermablend has 20 different shades, so no matter what skin tone you are, you're able to mix these in to match it to the true color of your skin. That way you don't have to struggle with any white cast. It's It's amazing technology and I'm totally here for it. And it's literally been something I've been looking for so long because the mineral sunscreen route is a struggle. And the great thing about it is that this may look like a little bottle, but you use the tiniest little bit and it instantly transforms the sunscreen. These are really concentrated, so this will last you a long time. If you guys aren't familiar with Dermablend, they're actually the #1 dermatologist recommended makeup brand, and you can find them at Ulta, Amazon, or dermablend.com. I watch a lot of dermatologists, and a lot of them, like Dr. J, for example, recommend Dermablend all the time because of their non-irritating and non-sensitizing formulas. All the products are fragrance-free, sensitive skin tested, allergy tested. A clinical study showed it helped defend against visible light, also known as blue light, to complement the sunscreen's UVA and UVB protection, which makes me feel a lot more comfortable mixing it in with my sunscreen. And the reason why this is so cool when you have it is because you basically have full reign to try whatever sunscreens you want because of the ingredients. So for example, one of my favorite sunscreens is the CeraVe Mineral Hydrating Sunscreen SPF 30. This one, from an ingredient standpoint, is so good. It has ceramides, hyaluronic acid to really help draw moisture into your skin. It's hydrating, great for people with eczema. Plus it has niacinamide, which makes me love it all the more. Dermablend and CeraVe teamed up to sponsor this video because they love this mixing technique between their products. If you watch my best drugstore sunscreen video, I consider this to be basically the best formula that is available at the drugstore for a sunscreen. I mean, you guys know I love CeraVe and I'm constantly recommending this one, but some of you guys have talked about sometimes experiencing a white cast, and I've experienced that too. And mixing this in with this one is so cool because not only are you not having to worry about the white cast, you get to utilize the amazing ingredients and formula that CeraVe provides. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. And then when you run out of this sunscreen, and if you want to try other sunscreens, you can use any mineral sunscreen you want just by mixing in your concentrated drops. If you follow me on TikTok, you also saw that I did a video on this one. I think it's really cool. It solves an issue that I don't see many other companies solving. And rather than it being like a standard foundation, which is where if they don't have your exact match, you're not able to use it, with the whiteness of the sunscreen and the color pigment, you're able to customize it to get to your perfect shade. If you guys are interested in getting these pigments, you can go to links in the description box below. Thank you so much for sponsoring me in this video. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys as always for being cool about my sponsorship so that I can work with companies and products that I've already fallen in love with. I have to say no to so many brands, but it's okay. I mean, I'm not upset about it at all. I get to keep my standards and work with companies that have my same values. The other option is to use Korean chemical sunscreens. Now, in South Korea, they have different legislation to allow certain sunscreen ingredients on the market. Not to mention that South Korea is light years ahead of us in terms of skincare technology, so there's a lot of options. Sun damage is looped into the FDA concern of skin cancer, which is, a medically diagnosed issue. And because of research done around specific ingredients, any ingredients that can prevent sun damage usually have to be approved by the FDA before you can label it as a sunscreen. But the FDA is a little bit behind in technology, and there's very few ingredients that are actually approved by the FDA to be used as sunscreen. And Korean chemical sunscreens utilize different UV protective ingredients that we don't yet have here in the USA, and they're amazing because they leave no white cast on the skin and honestly feel like moisturizers. I've talked about them in so many videos, but you can find them in my best sunscreens for this summer video. I go through all of my favorite ones. The only downside is that yes, you do have to order it online, and because it comes from Korea, it does take a while to get here, but it's an option if you're really not wanting to struggle with white cast. Now, another complaint I get about sunscreen is the heaviness, how it feels super heavy on the skin. It feels like sludge, like you're wearing a mask for mask, bro. And as someone with oily combination skin, I understand this struggle. It is frustrating to find a lightweight sunscreen that can work through the most hot days. But the good thing is that you can find lightweight formulas made for every single skin type. It just depends on how far you're looking. There's a lot of sunscreens that are silicone dominant sunscreens that give this light slip and this very light feel on the skin so it doesn't feel heavy at all. And that's really where you want to test your sunscreen out and look at the ingredients. If you do see that there's a lot of silicones as opposed to really rich moisturizing ingredients, that'll let you know that it has more of a light slip and a lightweight feel to the skin. A lot of people say silicones are bad. They're not. They're actually great for the skin. They prevent water loss, and most of them can be broken down by the environment and our bodies without any negative effect on the environment. And specifically in sunscreens, silicones are great and give you that nice experience. Another complaint I get, and this is usually typically from people of color or people with darker skin tones, the ashiness of a sunscreen. Sometimes with mineral sunscreens, even if it is the right pigment, it can leave a gray ashiness to the skin. And obviously I cannot speak to this personally because I've never firsthand struggled with that, but there are two different options. First of all, I recommend go subscribe to creators of color and black creators on YouTube. There's so many amazing ones that do sunscreen swatch tests, talk about the best sunscreens for people of color and black people. People like Dr. Alexis Stevens, Simply Ige, Dr. Vanita Ratan, and the Style and Beauty Doctor. I will link all of their channels down below below if you want to subscribe to them and show them support. They're amazing individuals. Or you can also watch my video talking about the best sunscreens for people of color and black people, where I mention all the best ones that have been recommended by creators of color. But in general, if you are struggling with ashiness, my recommendation would to lean away from mineral sunscreens and go more towards Korean chemical sunscreens. The experience is going to be incredible, and it will ensure that you never have to worry about potential ashiness. This isn't a problem for everyone, but it is one that I see come up quite frequently. Another complaint I see from you guys is the price point. You guys talk about how sunscreen is too expensive. You don't want to pay for it because you don't have very much money to spend on a skincare routine, which valid point. Skincare can be really expensive. I totally understand your reasoning for not wanting to spend a lot of money on skincare, and you should never, ever let anyone tell you that you need to spend a lot of money on skincare or sunscreen in order to have good skin, because that is a lie. But I will say the majority of my favorite sunscreens range from about $7 to $20 most. You can find really affordable, high quality formulas at the drugstore, Target, Ulta, Amazon, or in online stores, and they're not very expensive. To be honest, the majority of sunscreens I recommend here on my channel are under $20. And I know some of you guys are still going to be sitting there saying, oh my god, Hyram, that's still so expensive for me. I can't afford a $20 sunscreen. And I will say this, it is better that you invest your money into a good quality sunscreen than into the other products in your skincare routine. So if you're able to afford a moisturizer, a cleanser, a treatment, but you have a limited budget, you should be using the money that you would be spending on those products for a sunscreen. Because like I said before, sunscreen is the most important step in your skincare routine. Maybe that sounds a little bit unreasonable, but in reality, sunscreen should be the top priority in your skincare routine. And I would rather see you invest in a good sunscreen than in a good cleanser, a good moisturizer, or a good treatment. There's a quote in the community that always says, the best sunscreen is the sunscreen you wear. And I completely agree. It's super important to make sure that you find one that you actually enjoy. And then the final reason that I see it all the time from you guys when you say you hate sunscreens, that you just don't want to use one. You don't feel like it, you don't feel like buying one, you just don't want to. And to that I say, if you don't want to wear sunscreen, first off, don't use anything that exfoliates your skin. So any scrub, any acid treatment, any peel, any mask. Don't use any retinol or anti-aging treatment. Definitely do not use any brightening treatment or anything that fades dark spots. And honestly, don't spend money on skincare. It's not worth it. This may sound harsh, but I just want to be honest with you guys because I don't want you guys wasting your money. If you're spending money on a skincare routine but not using a sunscreen, none of that will be worth it because you're going to be accelerating the damage that you see in your skin. By exfoliating your skin or using anti-aging treatments or using brightening treatments, they are making your skin more sensitive to the sun. So by using a skincare routine and not using a sunscreen, not only are you not doing anything to prevent sun damage, you're actually accelerating your aging, damage, dark spots, and potential skin cancer. And spending a lot of money doing it. And so I would much rather have you just not spend money on skincare at all than to not use a sunscreen, because at least you're saving money. And I know a lot of people say in the skincare world, like, don't be so strict, don't be so intense, let people use what they want, let them have fun, which I agree to the point until you are increasing your risk of damage in the skin. Then I'm like, hold up, I need to tell you this, I need to help you. I just don't want you hurting your skin. So my message is sunscreen or bust. Take it or leave it. And that sums up my video. If you still at this point do not want to wear a sunscreen, girl, there's no hope. There's no changing your mind. I did my best. What can I say? I tried. Like I said before, if you do want to see any more recommendations that I have for sunscreen products, you can see the videos I have linked description box below. Or if you don't want to have to worry about white cast in your sunscreen, feel free to check out the Dermablend pigment drops. And thank you again to Dermablend for sponsoring this video. And if you guys haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel and to the notification bell so that you can see my videos every single week. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Mwah.